Namaste, namaste, and welcome to the first week of our autumn term. And today we're going to start with a little lying down, which is always a nice way to return after the summer break. So a rolled up blanket, if you have one to hand, would be useful, or if you prefer to use your bolster, you may. If you're using your bolster, you might like a little brick underneath the head end just to prop you up a little bit, make this just a little less intense as our first practice. And later on in the class, we're going to use a belt. So have your straps or belts handy as well. When you are ready, you can join me on the mat. And we're simply going to sit with whatever you're using for support right up against the bottom of your back and lie down over it. And if you've got hair up, you might like to take it down. And as you come into this position, keeping the knees bent and the feet on the floor, we want to allow the bottom of the body, so the buttocks and perhaps the very, very bottom of the spine, the coccyx, to settle into the ground. And the length of the spine, including the space behind the back of the head, being supported by whatever you're lying over. And when you get there and it feels comfortable, if it feels intense, just give yourself a few deep breaths here. But when you get there, if it feels comfortable, you can rest your arms away from the body, out to the side, turning the palms gently upwards and letting the sides of the body find their way gently around this support as if they were falling towards the floor. If you still find this quite intense, slip a little block underneath your buttocks, just to give you a touch of lift. A cushion would do as well. Or you might like to raise your head a little with a block or a cushion underneath your head. And that can sometimes just ease the intensity of the practice in the back of the body. Oftentimes, a few long, deep breaths will help here. So if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. If not, just gazing at one spot above you, softening your gaze, allowing your body to feel heavy into the mat and into the support behind you. Allowing all of those parts in the back of the body that have contact with your support to release. Find a long, slow breath. Soften the features of your face. Relax that space between the eyebrows and around the eyes. Letting go of tension from across the jaw and the tongue. With each breath, allow your body to get a little heavier here. Perhaps you can feel a gentle lengthening happening across the chest, across the very top of the torso, the front of the shoulders. If you're over a bolster, you might even feel this underneath the rib cage, across the abdomen. A gentle opening and lengthening of the front of the body. You may like to explore the opportunity to straighten your legs. So you can slide the legs slightly away, straightening the legs, maybe keeping the legs quite wide, and just seeing if that feels comfortable in the body. If that feels too intense, or if you feel discomfort in your low back, simply bending your knees and placing your feet on the floor again, just giving the pelvis that little additional bit of support. If you're comfortable with the legs long, you might like to tap into that feeling of a gentle sense of openness across the groin area, the lower parts of the abdomen, the backs of the knees. And we're going to remain here and breathe for about another minute or so. Letting go, softening, relaxing. At the end of your next exhalation, just preparing to move. So you can begin by perhaps wiggling your toes. If your legs are extended, you might bend the knees and bring the feet in. And then from here, we're going to roll to one side and just ease the support out from underneath the body and then roll back onto your back so that you are now against the flatness or the firmness of the floor, and allowing the body to take a slightly different shape. You might feel a gentle easing across the upper back, across the chest, and the low back as well, perhaps. And we just want to take a moment here. Sorry, I've just got my hair clip in the way. A moment here to allow the body to feel heavy again. And we're going to roll the head gently from one side to the other. So allowing the back of the head to be really heavy, supporting the weight of the head against the floor, and just a wave of the nose from side to side. You don't have to do the fullest movement that you're able to, just easing some movement into the neck. It's really useful to do this practice lying on the floor because the neck muscles then don't have to hold the weight of the head. And sometimes that means that they get to move in a way that they don't usually have the opportunity for. And it can be lovely and relaxing. If we do it nice and slowly, we also get the opportunity to notice the effect of our practice and to notice sensations and feedback from the body. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center. We're going to take the arms really, really wide and then cross the right arm over the left arm so that the arms are heavy onto the chest, and we can feel that space between the shoulder blades, perhaps just finding some contact with the floor. And then here, keeping the arms really heavy, we can again just turn the head gently from side to side. It won't perhaps go as far, but we're just allowing those muscles to explore this new space that they've got. When you're ready, head can come back to center. You can open the arms nice and wide and cross them the opposite way. So the left arm is over the right arm, again, allowing the arms to be heavy across the chest, feeling that space between the shoulder blades. Maybe you might even be aware of more contact between the back of the neck, or the lowest part of the back of the neck, and gently turning your head from side to side. When you're ready, you can come back to center, taking the arms wide again. And then from this wide position, we're going to take the arms right down to our sides and straighten our legs out along the mat. So to begin with, we're going to ease the effort into the heels of the feet. So we want to draw the toes back towards the body, arms are down by the side, and as you breathe in, reach your arms directly up over your chest and then over your head. Doesn't matter if they don't reach the floor, it's not about that, it's about that sense of length. We're going to press into the heels of the feet and lower the lower back down to the floor. So press the lower back down, maybe scooping the belly muscles in a little. And as you breathe out, arms come down to the side, relaxing the legs, just relaxing the feet. Let's do one more like that. Breathing in, press through the heels, press the low back down, reach the arms over the head. And breathing out, arms down by the sides, coming back the way they came, relaxing the legs. We're going to do two with pointed toes as well. So pointing the toes, reaching the arms up as you breathe in. This time, allow the low back to come slightly away from the floor. Maybe take the back of the shoulder blades to the floor. And then exhaling, arms down to the side. And one more. Breathing in as you reach up, pointing the toes, reaching through the front of the body, nice length there, and exhaling down. Excellent stuff. And then we're going to bend one knee into the chest, catch hold of it, and use your tummy muscles, gently bring the other knee into your chest as well. And here, making some little circles with your knees. Now, you might like to make these circles without the hands on the knees, that's absolutely fine. But if you feel comfortable holding onto your knees or your shins or the backs of your thighs, then using the arms for a bit of support here. And we're going to go the opposite way too, because it's yoga, we always like to do it the opposite way too. And it doesn't matter how far apart your knees are, it's just whatever feels most comfortable to you in this moment. Nice little wriggle and massage out of the back of the body. And then taking the feet down to the floor, again, one at a time, one foot to the floor, then the other. The knees are remaining bent. We're going to take the arms out to the side. And then here, firm in your belly, with your feet relatively a reasonable distance apart, maybe about hip width or slightly more. Then allowing the knees to go to one side, and then sway back to center and to the other side. We want to use enough effort across the abdominal muscles and the sides of the body that we feel we control that movement, and the movement is slow so that we have the opportunity to feel the effect of the practice, to notice sensations in the body, to notice where areas of tension or stiffness or discomfort are, and remembering to work well within those ranges, so we don't exacerbate any discomfort in the body. You might find as you sway from side to side, the body warms, it finds some space. You can get your knees into a position that perhaps wasn't first available. We'll do just one more to each side. And then we're going to bring the knees back to the center, hug them briefly towards you again. This time, keeping the toes together, take your knees apart and just roll the knees together and apart. It's like a little version of breaststroke legs, but without the kick, without the glide. Just rolling the thigh bones and the hip sockets, and then the opposite way as well. The connection of the feet just means that we help to keep our range of movement relatively small for the hips. And then bringing the knees together again, taking one foot to the floor and then the other. We don't want to have the heels super close to the feet, but you might want to feel that you can press into the feet to support. If the feet are too far away, then it's harder to get that purchase. And here, the feet can be any distance apart that feels good to you. We're gently going to roll the pelvis backwards and forwards. So that's rolling the low back down into the mat as we maybe engage through the belly a little, and then rolling the tailbone towards the floor to open that space under the low back just ever so slightly. At this point, we're keeping the buttocks on the floor pretty much the whole time, but rolling over that sort of center part of the buttocks, if you like. Just a gentle opening, wriggling movement that finds space and helps us to release tension as well from the back of the body. Very good. Super stuff. And then we'll do one more of these. And as you roll your low back into the floor, you can gather your knees towards you again. So to begin with, we're just going to hold the knees into the chest, not perhaps as much as you can, but with a little bit of effort. And then here, try to lengthen the low back down at the same time. It's quite a subtle movement. It's a little bit of resistance in the body, and then gently release the effort. Just let the knees come away from you slightly. And then we'll do that 2 more times, holding the knees in towards the chest, and then actively trying to keep that position whilst we lower the tailbone or the low back or whatever you want to call the bottom of your body towards the floor. And then gently release, let the knees come away from you ever so slightly. And we'll do that one last time. Draw your knees in, hold them towards your chest, and then press the bottom of your body down towards the mat. Low back, sacrum, or tops of the buttocks, and gently release. And then here, give your knees a little stir again, perhaps with the knees quite close together. We're going to start with biggish circles and move to make them smaller and smaller and smaller until they're really nice and subtle and tiny, just rocking around on your sacrum. And that should hopefully feel quite nice. It's a part of the body that is actually connected with really strong pieces of connective tissue, fascia, ligaments, tendons. And we're going to go the other way. We'll make slightly larger circles to begin with. So you can feel your whole low back rolling around on the floor, and then make them smaller and smaller and smaller until you're making those tiny circles, feeling the sacrum just being massaged, particularly those strong connective tissues around the sacrum. And then gently taking your feet a reasonable distance apart, knees as well, relax your arms down to the floor. And then here, we'll start with big circles of the knees. You can go in opposite directions or the same direction. I'm going to start in the same direction because I want to take it in both ways. I'm going to do it both ways. And then when you're ready, going in the opposite direction as well. You need to use a little bit more effort with your abdominal muscles, with your core muscles, to be able to do this without using the hands. And we're just sort of awakening the core for the rest of our practice. And when you're ready, you can do this in opposite directions. So one leg and then the other, maybe making a circle, extending the legs ever so slightly. And the lower your long leg gets towards the floor, the more challenging it is for your center support. When you're ready, going in the opposite direction. And remember just to do what feels right in this moment. So you can stay higher up, it's not a problem at all. There's no gold stars, unfortunately, for getting your foot quite close to the floor. Except perhaps your own gold stars in your mind. When you're ready, you can bring your knees back to center and then just give them a gentle hug or two, nice little wriggle, settle the low back, and then feet to the floor one at a time, 1 and 2. We're going to take the feet quite wide, maybe just a little bit wider than they were last time. Arms are wide away from the body, and just allow the knees to sway gently from side to side, not trying to get anywhere in particular to begin with. But as you move, perhaps getting a little closer towards the floor. And then the next time your knees go to your left side, just allow them to rest down there. Feeling that sense of length across the hip flexor perhaps. If your left leg is really far away from the floor, you can take a block or a cushion or a bolster and pop it underneath the outside of your thigh to allow your leg to really rest down. But if you don't need it, you don't need it. Make sure that your knees feel comfortable here, that there's no sense of length across the inside or outside of the joint that feels too much for you. And then we can take the right arm and stretch it out to the right side. Maybe it can go all the way up to that space or alongside the right ear, as long as your elbow, wrist, and shoulder feel comfortably released into the floor here. That's what we're looking for. So it might be that your arm needs to be out to the side for that. Maybe it's higher up, that's okay, wherever it is. Allow your head to turn into whichever position feels good. And then we're going to let the inner right thigh drop towards the floor, inner right foot, and take a big deep breath all the way through that space we've got down the right side of the rib cage. Feel free to sigh out anytime you like. Relax your legs just a little. Bring your right arm back to center. Firm the belly muscles. Bring the knees back to center as well. And do a little sway in the center from side to side. Not really going anywhere, just massaging, releasing out any tension. When you're ready, the knees can go down to the right side. Again, supporting the outside of the right thigh if you need to with a block or a cushion or a bolster. And then here, feeling that space down the left hip flexor, the front of the groin, maybe across the waist or the belly or the side of the body, reaching your left arm out to the left. Maybe it goes all the way towards the left ear, making sure your wrist, elbow, and shoulder feel relaxed. They're not hanging in midair. And then encouraging the inner left thigh towards the floor, making sure you've got no uncomfortable feelings across your knees. And you can adjust your head to turn in whichever direction feels good. And then take a deep breath or two here, feeling that space all the way down the left side of the body, particularly around the rib cage, the outer part of the body, the leftish bit of the body. When you're ready, you can bring your arm back to your side. Just relax the legs, draw the knees back to center, firming the belly as you go. A little gentle sway of the knees from side to side, just to ease out any effort from that practice. And then with the feet still quite wide, just adjusting yourself if you need to, we're going to move into a little bridge pose. So we're going to bring the elbows close to the body and place the elbows and the upper arms down into the floor, but the hands, elbows bent, hands can face each other. You can use fists, you can use straight fingers, you can use relaxed hands, whatever works best for you. We're going to press the back of the head down gently and then press the backs of the shoulders and arms down firmly. As you do that, feel the open space across the front of the chest. The front of the chest, I suppose the back of the chest is the upper back, the chest. And then pressing into your heels, just peeling your spine off the floor. So we're going to tip the pubic bone towards us, scoop the belly in, and then gently use that sense of support from behind the body to lift. We don't want to go really high here. We're really looking for a bit of a straight line from the knees to the chest. And then we're gently releasing the opposite way, scooping the belly in, rounding through the low back to place the hips down on the floor again. And we'll do about 4 more of those. So really firm with the upper shoulders, upper arms, elbows, and the back of the head, and the heels of the feet. And then tipping the pelvis, rolling the hips gently up, just feeling what feels like a good height to go, and rolling gently down. If you wish to coordinate with your breath, you can. As long as you're not holding your breath, it's all good. So we just want to breathe naturally, or perhaps breathe in a way that feels the right way for you to breathe with this posture. Be guided by your intuition, your instincts. Let's do 2 more. Rounding, scooping and lifting, really supporting in the upper body. And it really takes the effort out of the low back having to do work here if you're using your upper body for support. And bridge pose, whilst people think of it as being a back bend, is really a chest opener. It's more about what's happening in the upper body in terms of the position for yoga. So this time we're going to roll all the way up, still with that lovely support, the back of the head just gently pressing down. And when you come to the top of your movement, here you can play with your hips a little bit. So you might want to press a little higher up with the hips, maybe thinking about taking the chest towards the chin. You might like to just gently sway your hips from side to side if that feels like a nice thing to do. Sort of length down one side and then the other, or you might like to hula hoop your hips. Just imagining you're hula hooping, keeping the hips off the floor and just doing these little circles in mid-air. If you're hula hooping, going the opposite way as well. And of course, you can try all 3 if you like. As long as it feels comfortable, that's what we're about. Whenever you're ready, just giving a final press up and then rolling gently down. And at the bottom of your movement, relaxing the upper body. Perhaps if it feels good to you, you can gather the knees towards you. If you prefer to do something with long legs, I often do because the hamstrings work quite hard in bridge pose, then you can lengthen your legs as well. Maybe do a few ankle movements, pointing and flexing, or circling the ankles. The knees don't have to be straight here. You can have nice soft knees. You can use your hands to support your thighs in place. And of course, you can do this with the legs just on the floor if you prefer, which is also a really nice thing to do. So whenever you're ready, if you've got legs up, we're going to bend knees in, 1 foot down, then the other, one leg extended, then the other, and make the feet do circles. So circling on the heels, moving through the ankles, just feeling that roll of the thigh bones in the hip sockets, going the opposite way when you are ready. So before we move into practice in a different position, because we've been lying down for a while now, it's lovely to do practice on the floor. It helps us to feel really grounded. But we're going to do a little bit of work on our core, because we did that all last term, but whilst we're moving into practice for the upper back and upper body this term, we still want to make sure that we've got that foundation of core support. So we're going to take the arms down by the sides and the heels of the feet extended away so the legs are nice and long. Roll the shoulders down into the mat, firm in the belly, and then breathing in as you lift your right leg up. Breathing out as you draw your knee into your chest. Breathing in as you lengthen the right leg up, and breathing out and down. Breathing in, left leg up. Breathing out, knee to chest, single leg lifts. Breathing in, left leg extended, breathing out and down. So as we go from side to side here, press the left leg down as you lift the right leg up. Use your hands as you draw your knee into your chest. Extend through the right leg again, and lower the leg as straight as you can down. Press the right leg down as you lift the left leg up. Breathe out as you draw your knee to chest with your hands. Lengthen your left leg up and then lower down. And now we don't want to do any more of those, but we are going to do a similar movement to get into our next position. So we're going to lift the right leg up and draw the knee into the chest. Hold around the back of the thigh. You can use your straps if you need to at any stage for this practice. So if you want to use your strap to draw your leg towards you, you can. But holding your right thigh towards you, try to extend your leg slowly to a point that feels good. If at any stage you want to release your leg slightly away to be able to get it straighter, that's fine. Having your leg absolutely straight is, again, not necessarily the aim, but it's great if that happens naturally. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Allow the shoulders to be nice and heavy, the back of the head still nice and relaxed here. And then just gently pointing the toes slightly and flexing the foot slightly. Now that can create some quite intense feelings in the leg. So try to work gently here. We don't want to, what we're actually doing is a little bit of nerve flossing, nerve stretching, but we don't want to overdo it. So really gentle. And then when you're ready, you can just press that thigh away from you slightly and draw it towards you at the same time. Just a little PNF stretch here. And then gently release. Draw the leg towards you as much as feels comfortable and slowly lower as you let go with your hands down. At the bottom of this movement, when you come back to Shavasana, just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. Maybe give your ankles a little wiggle if it feels nice. I love to do that. It really releases things across the hip flexors for me. And then when you're ready, heels extended away again, little touch of effort across the belly muscles, lifting the left leg up, drawing the knee into the chest and holding around the back of the left thigh. So we want to try here to draw the knee as close towards us as possible first, soften the shoulders down, make the back of the head nice and heavy, and then begin to extend the leg, giving ourselves a bit more space by releasing the thigh away from the chest as much as we need to straighten the leg. We're not aiming to get it straight, but if it straightens, that's great. If you need to use your strap, go for it. And then here, gently pointing and flexing the left foot, trying to work at a place that feels good, but not too intense. So we don't want to over stretch here. Nerves are not super stretchy, so we want to work gently with them. Maybe one more like this. And then in a comfortable position for your foot, draw your thigh towards you and press your leg away from you at the same time, just holding this resistance, this effort. And then when you let go now, you might be able to draw that thigh a little bit closer towards you, just gently, and then letting go with the arms firm in the belly to lower that leg all the way down. And we're just going to release in the hips, give yourself a little wiggle, wriggle in your ankles, whatever feels good here against the mat. Super stuff. So again, bringing the legs together, again, lengthening through the heels. We're going to lift the right leg up. And then this time, we're going to draw the head and the shoulders towards the right leg a little and use our hands just to lightly hold around the back of the thigh. Doesn't matter if your knee is bent here, it's not a problem. What we do want to do is just make sure that we've got the neck extended and we're firm in the belly muscles, and we are going to lift the left leg up as well. And then here, swap legs. So we're lowering the right leg and lifting the left leg at the same time as we keep the head and the shoulders up. Thinking about length through the back of the neck and the crown of the head, and then swapping legs. Nice and firm in the belly, swapping legs again. If you feel that you're tiring in the chest or the neck area, please feel free to release down. Swapping legs a few more times. Let's maybe do, I've got my left leg up. Let's do one more to each side. Very good. And then from here, we're going to bend both knees into the chest, head towards the knees, relax the head down, keep the knees bent, give them a little bit of a roll in both directions. And then feet to the floor. And here, opening the chest and the shoulders, arms out to the side, and gently rolling your head from one side to the other. And that helps to ease out any tension at the front of the neck, which hopefully we don't have because we've used our muscles to hold us up, not just the ones in the neck. When you're ready, you can either roll to one side to come up into sitting, or if you're comfortable, you can bend your knees into your chest, head to knees, and just rock through the length of the spine. It's a nice thing to do just to massage out any effort. Rocking from shoulder blades to sit bones a few times, maybe even balancing at the top of the movement. And when you're ready, coming up to sitting. And please excuse me, because I'm just going to arrange my hair now that we are upright. So here, as we come to sitting, I've got my right leg in front of my left, and that it would be great if you're the same, but if you prefer not to sit that way, that's fine. If you don't like to sit cross-legged, simply have your feet on the floor, slightly separated, or you can have them extended if you like. So we're going to come to the seated pose and just allow our shoulders to drop down, finding length through the back of the body, taking a moment to allow the body to absorb all of the information that we've given it so far with that movement. And then we're going to, again, start by taking the arms nice and wide, crossing the right arm over the left arm and holding onto the shoulders. We're going to let the elbows be heavy onto the chest and take a few deep breaths here. We're trying to feel that sense of length and lift through the sides of the body, but maybe you also feel a sense of space across the upper back. For those of you who can manage to hold Garudasana arms, eagle pose arms, you can bring the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands together. If it's something that you're not comfortable with, just lifting the elbows slightly but holding onto your shoulders. And then we're going to gently make circles with the hands, which will give us an opportunity to do a little leaning forward bend. We're going to go 3 in one direction, and then we're going to change and go in the opposite direction. So 3 gentle circles, and then moving in the opposite way as well. Keeping that sense of length across the shoulders. Maybe you feel it into your wingtips. And when you come back to center, relaxing the hands to the shoulders if they're not there already, down the body and across to open the chest a little here. We're going to continue to use our arms here for a little movement through the spine. So we're going to draw the backs of the hands towards each other, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And then sitting tall, draw the elbows back, opening the chest and turning the palms upwards. So you get this sense of length through the front of the body. Rounding through the spine, chin to chest, backs of the hands towards each other. And then sitting tall, maybe lifting the chin as the elbows come back, turning the palms up to the ceiling as the arms lengthen. Rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Sitting tall, elbows back, chest open. And then floating the arms down to your side. Just giving the shoulders a little roll anytime they need it to release any effort or pressure. And we're going to do a gentle side bend. So just start with a little movement from one side to the other. It helps to lengthen the right arm over to the left, just to open that space down that side of the body, and vice versa as we go from side to side. As you move, you might feel that you could go a little bit further, perhaps if you lifted the opposite hip and that's okay. So we don't need to keep the hips rigidly in contact with the floor, but you perhaps want to aim for length by making your hip heavy as well. So a little lift is fine, just side to side. And then the next time that you go to your right side, we're going to hang out there. So we're over to the right. The left arm is reaching over. The right arm soft, the shoulder down, the elbow just being offering some buoyancy. We can gently lengthen our way over. And then in the lengthened position, rolling the left shoulder back so we can look up towards the ceiling, and rolling the left shoulder forward so we can look down towards the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Rolling the left shoulder back to look up towards the ceiling, rolling the left shoulder forward to look down towards the floor. One more time, wriggling through this left side of the body. And then allowing the left arm to come down on the right side, patting the hands back towards the center. We find ourselves in a little forward bend across the knees here, rolling the shoulders down to open the chest, scoop the belly in, and maybe just give the chest a little sway from side to side. For those of you who like the idea of doing cobra pose with your upper body, you can move your hands either side of your knees, roll the shoulders firmly together, lifting in the belly very strongly, and sway the chest. It's a slightly different feel. You might feel it across the buttocks or the muscles of the buttocks a little bit differently in this position. When you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you, come to an upright position. And we're just going to lean back a little bit on our hands and open the chest. So taking the feet onto the floor, so you open the knees, taking the hands behind the body. It doesn't matter whether you've got your fingertips forward, out to the side or back, or anything in between, as long as it feels supportive. We're going to roll the shoulder blades towards each other, firm the feet into the floor, firm the belly muscles, and then gently lift the hips up and gently lower the hips down. So rolling the shoulder blades towards each other. Let's do 2 more, pressing the hips up and gently lowering down. Last one, pressing the hips up and gently lowering down. Very nice. And then we're going to come back to our cross-legged position, but this time with the left knee or left leg in front of the right leg. If you didn't do the previous round in a cross-legged position, that's fine. Keep using the position of the legs that you prefer. Taking the arms nice and wide, we'll cross the left arm over the right arm. Holding onto the shoulders, let the arms be heavy onto the chest, taking perhaps a couple of deep breaths here. Feeling that space across the upper back. Maybe you can even lengthen your neck a little bit more. When you're ready, if you'd like to do Garudasana arms, taking the backs of the hands, the palms of the hands towards each other, you can. If not, just leaving the hands on the shoulders themselves. And we're gently going to lift in the belly to make little circles with the arms, going in one direction first for 3. It doesn't matter what your circles look like as long as it's comfortable. And then going in the opposite direction. Very good. Coming back to the center, relaxing the hands down to the shoulders, and then allowing the arms to come down across the body and open nice and wide. And this side, we did bringing the backs of the hands together and apart, but this time we're going to move our arms a little bit like wings. So reaching into the fingertips, we're going to sweep the hands back and up and then forward as we bring the chin towards the chest. And then as we reach up, we're going to draw the arms down and back. So we make figure of 8s with the hands either side of the body. And we allow the rest of the body to respond to the movement of the shoulders as much as feels comfortable to you. If you're unsure, making any sort of shoulder circles with your arms that feel good. Let's do 2 more. Finishing with the arms down by the side, just floating them there, finding that lift through the sides of the body again, and then we'll move into our side bends. So just gently over to one side and then the other. It will feel slightly different because we've got our legs in a different position if you're sitting cross-legged. We want to still have that sense of lift through the sides of the body and the belly muscles. And if you feel like you can go a little bit further to your side, if you just lift your hips, or lift one hip, then feel free. Just aiming to have that sense of length. The next time you come over to your left side, we're going to hang out there, softening the left elbow, making the left shoulder strong by drawing it down, reaching into that right hand up and over, exploring the side of the body. And then when you feel that you've explored the side of the body as much as feels comfortable, rolling the right shoulder backwards to open your chest, looking up towards the ceiling, rolling the right shoulder forwards to open up the upper back, looking down towards the floor. Rolling back and up and open, rolling forward, looking down. Let's do just one more. Rolling back and open, rolling forward and down, taking the right hand down to the left side of the knees perhaps, and then patting the hands back towards center. Here you can roll the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthen the back of the neck, scoop the belly in, and gently sway your chest from side to side. Lovely movement through the body. Maybe you can feel that sense of length across different parts of the back of the body. Maybe you might even feel it in your legs a little bit. And when you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you, come to an upright sitting position, and we're going to separate our feet again, separate our knees again, and do some up plank. So before we did reverse tabletop with the knees bent and the hips lifted. And so this time, if you'd like to, you can stick with that, or you can do up plank, which is with the legs long. Either of these, one is not better than the other, it's just a little progression. So firming the hands into the floor, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, thinking about keeping the belly muscles firm, either lifting the hips or lifting the whole of the legs up, and then gently lowering down. If you're in reverse plank or up plank, then we're thinking about taking the toes towards the floor as we lift and gently lower. We're just going to do one more. Nice and firm in the back of the body as we lift and lower. Very nice. And you can scoop your knees back in, give yourself a little seated child's pose. Feet are on the floor. They can be as wide apart as feels comfortable. And perhaps draping the body forwards. You can draw them as close to you as feels good in the back of your body. Just a little chin to chest action for a couple of deep breaths. We do these sorts of practices throughout our practice in yoga because these sorts of shapes with our body, because it helps to bring our awareness back into the practice, internalizes the experience, makes us reflect a little bit, which is quite useful. When you're ready, you can open yourself up, and we're going to take the legs nice and far apart. You don't have to have them super, super wide. So when we're working with a wide leg posture, I often say that you don't want them as wide apart as they can go. You want them slightly inside that, so you've still got the opportunity to move. You want to ease the flesh of the buttocks back a little bit. If you need to have soft knees, you can always place a blanket or cushions or blocks underneath the knees, which would look a little bit like this, which helps to take the effort out of keeping the legs straight. But it's entirely up to you. So we are going to come into this lovely wide leg posture and just do a few movements here. As with all of our practice, just making sure that we don't push too far or strive too much, taking things as they come on the day that we practice. So we're going to take the arms out to the side and up over the head, and then gently fold forward. It doesn't matter how far you come. We're aiming to keep the back nice and lengthened, and wherever you get to, we're just going to press it into the legs, firm the belly, and come back to center. Breathing in as you lift the arms up, breathing out, shoulders down, firm the belly, breathing in as you reach forward, breathing out as you return. Breathing in, lift the shoulders up, breathing out, shoulders down, breathing in as you come forward, and this time breathing out as the hands come down to the floor. So we're still in our gentle forward bend, hands down on the floor, and you can give yourself a little sway from side to side, trying to think about openness across the chest, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, and length in the back of the neck. Little scoop in of the belly muscles really helps here. And again, don't press too far too fast. Once you've done a little swaying, you might feel that you've got just a little bit more room to play with. Walk the hands a little further forward. Perhaps here, spend a few breaths. Softening, lengthening, releasing, and then see if you've got a little bit more room to play with. It's okay if you don't. If you stay further up, it's not a problem at all. Think about drawing out of the base of the spine, into the legs, into the crown of the head, scoop the belly in. One more set of length, and then see if there's a little bit more room to play with. Wherever you get to, just holding as you breathe for a few moments. If you've gone too far, give yourself a little bit of lift, so that it's not quite as intense, or release out completely if you need to. When you're ready, pad your hands back towards you to sit nice and upright. Take a moment. It's quite intense when we do the pancake. We're going to hold underneath the back of one knee and draw it into center, and then the same with the other. And here, we're just gently going to bring ourselves into that seated child's pose, chin to chest. Taking a few deep breaths. Then when you're ready, you can come back into the same position. So legs nice and wide. You might feel that it's a bit more comfortable this time. It might not be, that's okay. Ease the flesh of the buttocks back a little, or sit on a block if you prefer to give yourself some lift. And now we're going to do some sideways movements. So reaching arms out to the side, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, open your chest. Taking your left hand down to your left side, reaching the right arm up and over, and then back to center, and right hand down to right side, reaching the left arm up and over. This is always an option. When we're sitting cross-legged, you can do the whole thing with the legs in this position, but it's just to open up the sides of the body ever so slightly. This time, as we come up, we're going to reach the left arm across the body and the right hand towards the right, the left toes. Towards the right toes would be quite different. And then coming back to the center and doing the same thing on the other side. Right arm across the body, left hand towards right toes. And back to center. This time, as we come, let's do one more of those to each side, actually. Sorry, please excuse me. One more to each side. Lovely job. And then this time, as we come to center, we're going to turn the whole of the chest towards the right. So here, instead of being spiraling down, which we are going to spiral, but we're going to do more of a side bend. And then we're reaching the left hand towards the left foot. Doesn't matter where it gets to on your leg, just wherever feels good. If you get to your foot, you can hook your right toe, your big toe, sorry, which is your left toe, and then firm in the belly, reaching the right arm over. What we want to avoid is that arm coming in front of the body and making the upper back curve. So we want to open the chest, reach the right arm over to wherever is comfortable. If you can reach the hands together, that's great. If not, here is fine. If you prefer to keep your chest open, you can take the back of the right hand to your low back, and that will help to keep your chest open. Little lift in the belly muscles. You might find when you're down there that you get a bit more room. You can come a little bit closer down. And then when you're ready, gently coming out of the posture in a way that feels good, giving yourself a wriggle. Anything that needs wriggling, give it a wriggle. Smashing stuff. So we're going to do the initial practice first again. So the one with the arm across the body as we reach to the right hand to the left hand over to the right toes. And then the same thing on the other side. Let's do just one more of those in each direction. Right, just reach up and over. Very nice. And then we're going to come back to the center, arms nice and wide, turn the whole chest to point towards the left foot. And then from here, taking the right hand down to the right leg, the thigh, the knee, the calf, the shin, the foot, if it feels comfortable to do that. Hooking the right toes if you can, and we're easing the right side of the body down to the right leg. And then we're reaching the left arm up and over. So my shoulder here, it's an injured shoulder. It most often wants to bring my arm in front of the body. So I have to work really hard with the upper back to reach it over so that I keep my chest open. If you find that that's a bit tough for you, like I do, then take the back of your left hand onto your low back, keeping the shoulder open. We're thinking about lifting in the belly muscles. You might find that when you've been down here a few moments, you get a little bit more space you can move into. Don't push or force, whatever feels good. Taking maybe one more deep breath. It's quite a strong stretch. And then when you're ready, you can gently ease back to center. Whew, very nice. While we're here, let's do one more forward bend to each side. So we're just going to open the chest open, the arms open, chest open, and again, turn to look at the left foot. So the whole of the chest is pointing that way. And then we're going to reach the arms towards that left foot. So we're folding ourselves over the left leg. Hands can come to wherever is useful. We're thinking about lengthening out of the tailbone. The belly is scooping in. The chest is open. We're using that space across the upper back, lengthening the back of the neck. You can gently bob here. Bob. Really, really gently, just to see if there's a little bit more space to find. It's easier to do that not at the end of your range of motion, so you're sort of in the middle range of motion, so that when you want to come a little deeper, you've got that opportunity. Wherever you are, take the opportunity for a long, deep breath in, long, deep breath out, and then gently coming back to the center, unwinding yourself to center. Make sure you feel stable again. I haven't mentioned the feet during our practice, but we really want the feet to it doesn't really matter. But if you have flexed your feet gently and you've got your feet toes pointing straight upwards, then it keeps your leg in sort of center alignment. That's not to say that it's not useful to be able to do this with your feet in different positions. It's just a little bit stronger for the base. That was a rest so that we can do this next side. So sit really tall, arms reaching out to the side. We're going to turn the whole of the chest, point towards the right leg. And then we're going to reach the right arms up, the right arm, both arms up, and reach long across the right leg towards the feet, but it could be anywhere that you stop. Scooping your belly in, thinking about using the shoulder blades to draw the chest open, active and lengthen the back of the neck, and then just finding a little bob, wherever that might be. Somewhere that feels good, doesn't feel too twingy or strainy. And then whenever you're ready, you can fold a little deeper. Still thinking about lengthening out of the bottom of the back, all the way to the crown of the head. And when you're ready, patting your hands back towards you to gently sit upright. As you come into the center, we're going to ease the legs by drawing one knee in and then the other. And then we're going to take the soles of the feet towards each other and just allow a little bit of butterfly pose here. If you wish to, you can bounce the legs really gently. We don't, the knees really gently. If that feels good, if it doesn't, just hold in stillness. We're still thinking about lifting in the belly muscles. And then we're going to take our elbows into the inner thighs and just see if we've got a little bit of length forward here. Inner thighs or shins, if that's easier to get. Just easing. Lovely. When you're ready, you can draw your knees towards each other. Smashing stuff. And let us do a little seated spinal twist while we're here. So we can put the left knee underneath and cross the right foot over. If that feels unstable for your hips, you can always straighten the left leg and simply cross the right foot over. Doesn't matter which of these you choose. We're going to sit really tall. We're twisting towards the right knee. So we take the left arm, we can place the hand, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, whatever it is around that around that right leg and draw it towards us. So we're drawing the right knee in, reaching the right arm up, take that right hand down behind you, and then use the arms to move into this twist. We're scooping the belly in, thinking about length into the crown of the head, shoulders are moving down, and just easing, maybe turning your head so that you get that real sense of twist through the entire spine. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then gently unwinding. Head first, then the hands, turning a touch to the opposite side and back to the center. For those of you who've got your legs like this, you can do the funky transition where you put your hands down on the left side of your body, just lift your hips and end up on the other side as you twist around. If that feels like it didn't really understand what was going on there, you bend the right knee underneath and place the left leg on top. Or if you find that it's not quite so good for your hips, lengthen your right leg and cross the left leg over. We're just coming to do our spinal twist on the opposite side. So lengthening through the whole of the body, wrapping the right arm around the left thigh and drawing it towards you, lifting the left arm up, finding length up, and then placing the hand down behind you. Use that arm to just lift your spine straight, and then using both hands, both arms to move into your twist. So we want to keep the shoulders moving. It's really want to draw the shoulder blades towards the center of the back, at least the bottom of the shoulder blades, widening across the top, scooping the belly in, turning your head if that feels like the right thing to do for your neck. It helps to really have that sense of twist through the whole length of the spine. Couple of deep breaths. When you're ready, you can gently turn your head to the center, unwind the arms, turn a little to the opposite side, and back to center. So we are approaching relaxation, but I'd really like to do some standing up practice. So if you find yourself in this position on the floor and you can do the slight unwind, we're going to come into downward facing dog. If you prefer to transition a different way, it is fine. So if you're in this position, you take your hands down to the right side of the body, unwind the legs, and find yourself in a wide-legged downward dog. Probably I'll turn this way because it's a little bit more pleasant for those who have to look at my bottom. So we've got a wide leg downward facing dog. We can do the same things we do in a downward dog, but with the feet nice and wide apart. Or you can find your way to downward dog in any fashion that you choose. So a little wiggle of the hips from side to side, bending one knee and then the other. Stepping your feet onto your mat so they're wide apart but not wider than your mat, doing the same thing. Little wiggle of the hips. Very good. And then we're going to take a little waving vinyasa. So the feet can stay nice and far apart. We want the hands quite a long distance away from the knees. Bend the knees either to the floor or enough to let your hips come towards your heels. So you're in a little squatting dog, and then pressing off the toes, rounding through the spine as the chest comes over the hands, gliding the shoulder blades down, softening the elbows just a little, opening your chest, and then scooping the belly in, rounding through your spine, bending your knees to come back to downward facing dog. Let's do one more like that. Let the hips come down towards the heels, press off the toes, round through the spine, glide the shoulder blades down to open your chest. And you can do it on your knees or not, nice and lifted in the belly to round through your spine, bending your knees back to downward facing dog. And then from here, just walking your feet towards your hands. You might come onto tiptoes. When you're in a nice forward bend, feet perhaps a little bit closer together, just soft across the knees, drawing the arms towards each other, hanging so that you're holding elbow to elbow. And then keeping the hips still, you might like a gentle sway from side to side. You might prefer not, but it's a really nice way to release tension if you've got it in the back of the body. You might like a little nod of the head or a shake of the head in center as well. To come up, we're going to bend the knees deeply, sweep the hands forward, drop your bottom so you find a deep chair pose, and then from there, pressing into the legs to open the body, standing tall, reach the arms open, lift the chest, and when you're ready, float the arms down to your side, and you're upstanding. Whew, feels so good to be upright, having done all of our practice close to the floor, rolling the shoulders a few times, maybe just wiggling a little bit from side to side, and noticing the effect of your practice. If you'd like to, you can take a moment just to stand in stillness, allow your weight to drop into your feet, your shoulders, the weight of them to drop into your fingertips. Feels good. Okie dokie. So we're going to take our straps, which we had ready at the beginning of class, and we're just going to do a little part of a sequence that I'm working on for our coming weeks. So we're going to start with the feet a comfortable distance apart, and then reaching the strap forward. We want the strap to be folded. You can have your strap at whatever length works for you. So we want to be able to get the arms over the head so that we've got them either side of the ears and effectively as narrow as possible on the grip. Not as narrow as possible, but not much wider than the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to start with the arms down by the side, just nice and relaxed. Little lift in the belly, a little soft in the knees. And then we're reaching the arms up. We're trying to find that openness of the chest without flaring the ribs forward. So we're drawing the arms back. We're using the effort of the upper back. And then we're going to bend the elbows and take that strap down behind the head. You might even reach to your shoulders or there or thereabouts, and then come back up again. So again, we don't want to flare the ribs. We want to find the shoulders are moving back and down, a nice little gentle drawing of the strap down to about the back of the neck or the back of the shoulders, top of the shoulders, and then up again. And then we're going to release the strap down. So just a little wriggle there. And then we'll do the same thing again. So reaching the strap up, a little soft in the knees, a little firm in the belly, and drawing your strap down behind your head to touch towards your shoulders, and then reaching up again. Let's do one more. Reaching that strap down, keeping the elbows nice and wide as well, and reaching up. Lovely job. Releasing down. And then we're going to do this standing on one leg. So bringing your feet towards each other. I hope we're going to do it standing on one leg. It's always, a guessing game. We're going to find a point of focus that's not moving ahead of us. We are going to take the weight onto the right foot, just float the left heel off the floor. If that's enough for you, then that's fine. Keep the toes down. If you can manage, bring your knee up. And then we're going to reach the arms up over the head. Think about lifting through the crown of the head, but keeping the shoulders down. Firm in the belly, drawing the strap down behind the head, behind the neck, to the top of the back if possible. Elbows nice and wide. And then reaching the strap over the head. One more time if you can, using your point of focus, using that strength through the center of the body, reaching the strap up, and then lowering your foot and your strap down in front of the body at the same time. In the center, give yourself a little dancing shoulder, a wiggle or a shake out of the arms and legs, whatever feels good. And then we'll try it on the other side and hope for balance just as good on that side. I did my strong side first, so this is my wobbly side. So we're going to find that point of focus ahead of us. Just gently lift the right heel. So we take the weight onto the left foot. Your right toes can stay down, or if you feel comfortable, you can lift your right knee. And then reaching your arms up, keeping that firmness through your center. Keeping the shoulders down, not flaring the ribs, just bending at the elbows to draw your strap down behind the head and chest, or head and the neck, sorry. And then back up, using your point of focus, drawing that strap down one more time if you can. And back up again. And then releasing your strap down in front of your body and foot to the floor at the same time. Very good. Just release your strap to one side. We're not going to use it again today, but we are working towards a balancing set of postures that is done with the strap, and you've just had a wee taste of it. So give yourself a little shake out. You can shake out the arms and the legs. Give yourself a dancing shoulder. And then any movements that feel good. So if you want to open up the sides of your body, if you want to draw the hands behind you, interlace the fingers and just draw the elbows and the palms towards each other to open the chest. And I really like Dvikonasana in this situation, double angle pose. So with your hands clasped behind the body, feet a reasonable distance apart, nice and soft, firm in the belly, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthen the hands down, the arms nice and long, lift your chest, lift your chin. And then folding from your hips, scooping the belly in on the way down. Come into a forward bend with nice soft knees and just allow the weight of your arms to and hands to move the hands away from the back so they float over the head. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. Separate your hands when you're ready. Float your arms down to the floor. You find yourself in a gentle forward bend. Just give your head a little nod and a little gentle turn from side to side. And when you're ready, you can come down onto your hands and knees and make your way to the mat for relaxation. Super stuff. So also adding any extra layers as you go, if you would need them. Oh, I just thought I should really put on a jumper. It's that strange coolness in the air. It's not quite the end of summer, although today here it definitely feels that it's pouring rain. Doesn't feel quite cool enough to have the heating on, but it really is, isn't it? But it is definitely cool enough to put on some extra layers. So if you were using a bolster or some cushions at the beginning of class and you'd like them underneath the backs of your knees for relaxation, or if you'd like to do relaxation with your legs up the wall, please feel free, absolutely, to choose the posture that is going to be the best for you. When you're ready, coming all the way down into whatever pose feels like the most supported for you. When you get to the floor, if you feel like your low back needs just that little extra release, you can draw your knees into your chest and do a few nice circles kneading your back against the floor, in both directions, of course. Or you might like to widen the knees, do one knee and then the other in circles, just again massaging your back, reversing direction when you're ready against the floor. Whenever you're ready, finding your way back into your relaxation pose. And we might also here make the head nice and heavy and do a little gentle turn of the head from side to side. When you feel ready, you can bring yourself back to center. Make any more adjustments you need to bring your posture into its best alignment for relaxation. And then find some stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeat 3 more times. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let all the effort of your practice go. A deep breath in, and begin to soften and relax your muscles. Deep breath in, and surrender down into your mat. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften. Feel the area around your eyes releasing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw relaxing. Take your awareness to the front of your body, to your chest. Feel the chest opening as the shoulders sink into the floor. Feel the back of your body. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Take your awareness into the back of the torso. Feel that sense of contact between your body and the floor. Feel your body letting go of the effort of your practice. Feel those muscles softening and releasing. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Feel your heart center, the center of your chest. Perhaps here you can feel a sense of energy, perhaps a sense of space or lightness or light. Imagine your breath moving to and from your body via the center of your chest, breathing in through the center of the chest, breathing out through the center of the chest. Perhaps you can feel a gentle coolness as you breathe in the center of your chest, and a gentle warmth as you breathe out. Focus your awareness on your breath, on this part of your body, relaxing a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath, moving your awareness back into your hands and your feet, wiggling your fingers, your toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. When you feel ready, you can take a deep breath in and stretch the body in any way that feels good. Maybe stretching the face in a yawn. Maybe lengthening one side and then the other. And when you're ready, you might like to gather your knees into your chest and hug them towards you. With your knees held in, you might like to roll your head from side to side, just easing out any tension in the back of the neck. Maybe rolling your knees in circles, getting some of that lovely massaging effect in the back of the body. Hopefully you feel like you don't need that very much now, but never know, sometimes it's just a nice way to wake up. When you're ready, you can roll to one side and just find a comfortable spot to rest on your side, allowing your body to come around a bit at a time. When you feel ready, coming into any comfortable upright position. And today we're going to rest our hands across our heart center, the center of the chest, that part of the body we were breathing and focusing on in our relaxation. With the hands there, that sense of warmth given to this area of the body. When we're working with our arms and shoulders and upper back and chest, this is the energy center that we're really focusing our effort on. So sitting nice and tall, taking your chin towards your chest, and draw into your heart center any person or animal or thing or cause that perhaps needs a little bit of awareness, of love, of compassion, of patience or tolerance. And for a moment, holding that person, place, or thing in your love. Smiling gently to yourself. When you're ready, raising your head, opening your eyes. Thank you very much for joining me in this practice, the first one of our autumn term. As I said, we're going to be focused for the next few weeks on the space across the upper back, and improving our posture is the plan. I hope that you've enjoyed this class and I hope you have a great week. I'll practice with you again soon. Namaste.